Hello, everyone. My dear students, grade 4, how are you doing today? Well, I hope you're doing great. I'm teacher Gihad. Today, I'm gonna show you simple and effective way to revise your science lessons easily before the exam. So let's get started. Okay, let's start with theme 1, concept 1, adaptation and survival. Let's remember the meaning of the adaptation that we mentioned before. What is the meaning of adaptation? Adaptation means characteristics that help living organisms to survive and reproduce in their ecosystem. So the meaning simply is it features something may animals have them or may animals do them. That's why to stay alive, to survive and reproduce in their ecosystem. So the adaptation here has keywords, two keywords. Number 1, survive, and number 2, reproduce. We studied also types of adaptation. Let's remember adaptation 2 types. Number 1, structural adaptation, and number 2, behavioral adaptation. What is the difference between them? Number 1, structural adaptation. This is a change in the structure of the living organism's body in order to help them to survive and reproduce, as we said. It means something change in its body. Like what? Like the blood vessels in the penguin's feet, like the thick fur of the polar bear, like the long neck of the giraffe. All these examples are structural adaptation. Something change in the animal's body. What about behavioral one? Behavioral, from its name, it belongs to behavior, something, action. So it's change in the behavioral or acts of a living organisms to help them survive. Like what? Like when the desert lizard look for any shadow in the desert, any shade area during the hot sunny day to keep its body cool. And the migration of some animals towards certain regions from a place to another, maybe for searching for the weather or for the food. And we have many reasons for the migration. So this is an action, something animals can do it. So keep it in your mind. Structural adaptation, something change in the animal's body. Behavioral one, it's an action, something animals can do it, can make it. So I think here you studied all these animals in the first concept. Let's remember them and say something special about each one. Okay, look here. I think we can group them in 2 or 3 groups according to their habitat. So let's remember the meaning of the word habitat. The habitat is the place in which the living organisms live in. Like, for example, we have penguin, polar bear, and Arctic fox. All of them, we can find them in polar area, snow, ice. So I think you can see them with a white color. True, that's why, because the habitat around them is white. So they will match with the habitat to make what? To hide or to blend in. And hiding or blending in means camouflage. So that's why their color is white like their habitat. Okay, the penguin and the polar bear and the Arctic fox, all of them have thick penguin, dense feather, and polar bear and Arctic fox, they have thick fur. Very good. And here also we have this fennec fox and the curricle, the wild cat. As you know, both of them have tan-colored coat or sandy-colored fur. That's why they live in the desert. So to make matching, as I told you, the animal that live in a certain habitat has to make matching with the colors to hide easily in its environment, to catch prey or hide from predators. That's why the dark or the black and brown pairs, their color, their fur color is darker than the polar one. Why? To hide in their habitat or their ecosystem. Okay, and this shark, this cute shark, lives in the excellent seas and oceans and also rivers because it lives in salty water and fresh water too. That's why it's amazing. It can find its prey anywhere. So here it has something special or a feature which is called counter shading. Did you remember counter shading? And as you can see here, the upper part of the shark is dark and the belly or the lure is white. That's why he can hide easily under the water and catch the prey during the daytime and the nighttime too. What about this desert lizard? It has colored scales to hide among the colorful rocks in the desert. Okay, this frog is from amphibians. Yeah, amphibians like toads, salamanders, and frogs. The special here that frogs, guys, can live on the land and live in the water too. How? It's amazing. It can get oxygen on the land. How? By using the lungs, like the humans. And in the water, no, not by gills for fish only, but by using their skin. It has moist skin to extract or get oxygen under the water. Okay, so I forgot you, panther chameleon. Panther chameleon from reptiles. It has a wonderful and amazing adaptation ways. We're gonna revise them. Okay, so are you ready for some questions? True or false? Number one, polar bear has a dark fur to blend in with the snow. Let's remember the polar bear. Look here, polar bear dark. Very good. It's not dark fur, it's white fur. So I'm sure that you said the answer is false. Perfect. Number two, brown bear lives in Arctic region, while polar bear lives in forest. Brown in Arctic like snow and polar in forest. Sure, you said wrong, the opposite. Okay. Fennec fox has what fur to help it blend in with the desert landscapes. Let's remember the fennec fox here. It has what? Yeah, as we said, it has tan-colored coat or sandy-colored fur. Very good. What else? The type of adaptation that some animals use to hide from their predators or their prey is known as what? As I told you, any animal has to match the color of its habitat to hide or to blend in. This is called, yeah, as we mentioned, camouflage. Very good. Okay, who can help me to mention its structural or behavioral adaptation? Let's remember the features of the fennec fox and also determine its structural or behavioral adaptation. Number one, tan-colored coat or sandy-colored fur of the fennec fox. Is it structural or behavioral? Remember, structural, something can change in the animal's body. Behavioral, an action. The animals can do it. So I think you said it's structural because sure, the coat or the fur is not an action. Yeah, logically. And number two, extra large ears of the fennec fox. These extra large ears functions, guys, is to make what? Yeah, to help the fennec fox to keep its body cool or lose the heat. That's why it will be action or something change. I think you said structural too. Perfect. Okay, number three, lives in pairs. Pair is a small place that fennec fox can hide, as you can see in this picture. So I can choose the place in which I want to live. So sure, it's action, so it will be behavioral adaptation. And number four, it pants like dogs. You know the meaning of this? Perfect. Takes up to 700 breaths per minute. So this is will be sure, it's not something change in its body. It's an action, as you said. Perfect. And number five, it eats different kinds of food. Yeah, this is also behavioral adaptation. Very good. Okay, we will not forget the Arctic one. So thick fur coat in the Arctic is perfect structural. But something special here about the Arctic fox is that it lives in tundra. In tundra, this is frozen desert in the winter months. Unlike the summer months, the ice will melt and no ice anymore. So, do we need this thick fur? Sure, no. So the fur coat is white during winter but turns brown in the summer when the snow melts. This is what. This is a mechanism or something change in its body to adapt the what? To adapt to the weather or the climate. So it will be structural adaptation. And number three, short ears and legs, unlike the fennec fox. So sure, the answer will be the opposite, to keep its body cool, not cool, to keep its body warm. Okay, so it will be structural. Lives in pairs? Yeah, I can choose. So this is behavioral. Eats all kinds of food. Yeah, very good. Also, this is will be behavior. Okay, guys, here we have the animal and its adaptation, and I want you to tell me structural or behavioral one. So which animal has blood vessels weave around each other? Let's see here. Which one of these animals has a wonderful mechanism to keep its feet or toes from freezing? Although it stands on the ice all the day. Yeah, I think you said this one. Penguin. Perfect. Okay. So let's return back to our slide. It's here. Okay, yeah. So number one will be penguin. So penguin has blood vessels weave around each other. The warm blood vessels weave around the cold blood vessels like this. So to keep its toes from freezing. This is structural or behavioral. I think you said structural because this is an action. We cannot control it. Number two, polar bear. Thick white fur. This is a structural. It's okay. Number three, which fox changed the color of its fur? And this is which type of adaptation? I think you said Arctic fox, and this is also structural adaptation. And number four, which fox? It will hide inside pears to stay cool. Yeah, this is the fennec fox, and this is behavioral adaptation as we mentioned before. Okay, panther chameleon, our cute lizard. Look, number one, its eyes can face opposite directions. So this is structural or behavioral. I think you said this is structural, and it helps the chameleon to search for the food and avoid being prey at the same time. It has brightly colored scales to hide, so this is structural too. V-shaped feet to fix its body on the tree branches, as you can see in this picture here. Yeah, sure, this is also structural. It's something inside its body. Okay, in danger time, three actions. Number one, puffs up its body with air, opens its mouth wide, and changes the color of its scales. So all these points are behavioral because this is the actions that chameleon will take in the danger time. Perfect. Okay, what about adaptation in plants? Adaptation not only in animals, but also in plants. We studied two big trees, acacia tree and kepak tree or great kepak tree. Okay, we said acacia in savanna forest in South Africa and kepak tree in Amazon rainforest of Brazil. So two different habitats, so two different adaptation ways of each tree. Let's remember them in a point of comparison. Okay, the shape of each one. The shape of acacia, like the shape of kepak, like what? As you can see, very good, umbrella-shaped tree. The habitat of each one. We just mentioned that acacia in southern African savanna. Southern African savanna? This is what? Less of water and 6 months without rains. So it's drought conditions. Unlike this kepak tree in Amazon rainforest of Brazil, from its name, rainforest, it's rainy and windy all the year. So the leaves of acacia here, tiny and sharp spines. Tiny leaves with the sharp spines to prevent animals from eating its leaves. Unlike the Kepak tree here, great Kepak tree has hand-shaped leaves with narrow ports to allow the wind to move gently through its leaves without tearing. And the roots. Sure, the acacia tree has normal roots, grew downward, very long roots called tap roots to search for the water. It reached 35 meters underground. Unlike the skipper tree, it has something special. It has soggy soil in its habitat. You know the meaning of soggy soil? It's muddy soil. You can slide easily. So the roots of Kepak tree will grow upward beside the trunk to support the tree to stay firmly in this soggy side. So it has large wide roots called buttress roots. Okay, what about the behavioral adaptation of each tree? Teacher, can the plant do any action? Yeah, actually it can. Let's see. The behavioral adaptation of this acacia that it produce poison in the danger time. Which danger time? When animals are attacking. So not only to defend itself, but also to give alert, warn the other or the nearby acacia tree. It's so kind. So it will send smelly message to warn other acacia trees. And this Kepak tree will send smelly message to attract the bat to help in the pollination process for producing a new trees. Thank you. Now, let's remember the adaptation inside our body to eat the food, the digestive system. So generally, let's remember that digestive system starts with mouth and ends with anus. And each station or organ has a specific function to help in the digestion of the food. So number one, space has what? That moistens the food, make the food so soft. Yeah, first it's the mouth, and we have inside our mouth this liquid digestive juice is called saliva. Saliva, its function is to moisten the food or make it soft to be easy for swallowing process. And number two, mouth. Then we have good esophagus. Esophagus is a tube that moves the food downward into the bank of the food. Yeah, the stomach. Nice. And number three, after stomach, we have, it will mix the food with what? In the stomach first, sorry. In the stomach, perfect. It mixes the food with what acid and what juice we have? Stomach acid and digestive juices. That's why it will turn the food from solid to liquid. And then after stomach, we have small intestine, very long tube, and the longest part of the digestive system canal. It receives juices from two accessory organs, which are liver and pancreas, which help to break down the food into nutrients. Then we will go to what? We will go to the large intestine. Don't forget that in the small intestine, we absorb these nutrients and distribute it to all the body parts through the blood. The large intestine, it absorbs what from the food? We didn't mention the water. So we will absorb the water from the food here in this large intestine and exactly from the undigested food. And we will form the wastes in the large intestine. We will keep or store the wastes until we get rid of them outside the body through anus. So anus helps the body to get rid of the solid wastes. And here our journey in the digestive system ends. Okay, not only digestive system that we studied, but also respiratory system. So this system starts with eyes, no, ears, sure, no, nose, very good. So nose, the air will go from nose. Which gas do we need exactly? Yeah, it's oxygen, perfect. So nose, then here we have a common passage, common cavity between the digestive and the respiratory system, which is the what? Yeah, throat or pharynx. Next, don't tell me esophagus. We are in respiratory, not digestive system. We will go to the lung through trachea. Trachea, this is the windpipe, not food pipe. Then the trachea is divided into two bronchi, two tubes will join the two lungs. And inside the lungs, we have here bronchioles. Two bronchi will be smaller tubes are called bronchioles. These bronchioles, guys, will end with air sacs. These air sacs are called alveoli. These air sacs are filled with the gases that we will exchange, oxygen and carbon dioxide. And don't forget the muscle that we need here to do the respiration process, which is called diaphragm. Here, the organs of the respiratory system. Okay, let's make a comparison between the respiration in human and respiration in fish. But first, I want to remind you that respiration process includes two processes. Number one, taking in air, and this is inhalation. And number two, this is exhalation or getting air outside the body. So we have similarities and differences between the respiration in human and fish. Yeah, the similarity that both of them inhale oxygen gas, fish and human, and all the animals, all the living organisms, even the plant, inhale oxygen gas, exhale carbon dioxide gas. And the blood carry oxygen gas to all the body parts. It's okay. What about the differences, the mechanism? We will get oxygen by two lungs to inhale the oxygen from the air. Unlike the fish, yeah, gills to inhale oxygen gas from the water. Let's remember the amphibians will extract oxygen gas from the water, not by gills, but by moist skin, by the skin. Okay? Nice. Let's remember this part, guys. We said that we have many changes that happened or occurred to the ecosystem. These changes, some of them are very slow and the others are so rapid. So the slow changes by the nature, like floods, like wildfires, and these changes give chance to the living organisms to adapt or to complete its life because it will take a long time. But other changes are caused by human activities such as cutting down forests and pollution. The living organisms sure will not find any time to adapt. They will die or become extinct. So the impact of these changes are harmful for the animals, plants, and even humans. And the human atoll can help in the restoration of the ecosystem again. Let's answer these questions. Number one, complete the following sentences using the words below. Blood vessels expand, cool, mild. Okay, number one, Peru is an excellent place for the fennec fox to stay what during the day? I think you said, yeah, very good, to stay cool. Perfect. So, number one here, we can write stay cool. Okay. Number two, during exhalation, the diaphragm, what it moves up. Exhalation means pushing the air out. So sure, it will contract or expand, relaxes. Yeah, sure, it will expand and moves upward. Savanna is a grassland habitat with a what temperature? Yeah, with a mild temperature or medium temperature. Okay, and number four, the what in the gills of the fish carry oxygen gas to the rest of the body? Yeah, we said the blood vessels or the blood will carry the oxygen gas to all the body parts. That's amazing. Thank you very much. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, true or false? We started concept 2, senses at work. And it means many nocturnal animals, guys, are coming. Number 1, smell is one of the super senses of the dolphins. Smell, dolphin, it's not logic, so it will be wrong. False. Very good. Sure, it's false, as you said. Number two, echo helps dolphins locate their prey. Echo and dolphin? Echo and dolphin, let's remember. Dolphins use echolocation. So it's true. Perfect. So echo helps dolphin to locate their prey. Nice. So guys, animals that become active at the night known as nocturnal animals. Known as nocturnal animals. Let's remember these animals here in details. Okay. What's your opinion to make matching here? I will give you the information and you have to tell me which animal. So number one, here the third picture is here. Okay. Something had the ability to sense the heat of their prey's body by using specialized body parts in their faces. This is what we have here picture for owl and bats and snake. So which one can sense the heat? And it's from nocturnal animals too. Yeah, very good. As you said, super. It will be the snake. Snake can sense the heat. Amazing. Depends on echolocation like dolphins to find their prey. Which animal depends on the echolocation? I think you said bat. Bat and dolphin echolocation by using the sound waves. So it's amazing. Bird, it has pool-shaped face and specialized head feather to pick up and amplify distant sounds. And also it can rotate its head in all directions as you can see. Yeah, very good. It's owl. Perfect. All of them are nocturnal animal. Each one has its specific adaptation. Okay. I have a question for the super guys. Imagine that you are touching an ice cube with your finger. Do you know where the information is processed to tell you that it's very cold? In your finger. Brain, hand, spinal cord, or nerves. Okay, which part inside your body will process, translate the information that this is very cold and I have to remove my finger right now? Yeah, perfect. This is the brain. As you said, and brain, guys, belongs to which system? Brain belongs to the nervous system. So this is the third system that we will mention now. So we said digestive, respiratory, and here is nervous system. Very good. Okay, let's go to the next slide. To remember the nervous system parts, we have to answer this figure. So first, what does this figure represent? It's the nervous system. Number one, nervous system consisted of what? Number one, perfect, brain. Two, spinal cord. Three, the nerves. Okay, which number is found inside the backbone of the human body to protect it? Yeah, I think you said number two, the spinal cord. Which number represents the main control center of the human body? The main control center in the human body, the manager of the body. Yeah, the brain. And number three, spreads all around the human body parts, like the delivery boy to deliver messages between the brain and spinal cord and all the body parts and vice versa. Yeah, the nerves, number three. You are amazing. Now, look here. Did you remember this action? Clarify the super senses that were most helpful for a jerboa in sensing the danger. Jerboa is amazing desert rodents. It's very small, but it has amazing adaptation ways to stay alive. So the super sense that we can find in jerboa here is what? Yeah, very good. I think as you said, super or sharp sense of hearing. It has long ears, large ears to hear the very small sounds of the animals. Let's answer these questions to remember more about jerboa. Number one, when a jerboa feels unsafe, its brain sends messages to its legs through its nervous system to run away from the danger. Is that true? Brain to legs to run. I think it's true, as you said. Nice. Number two, the reaction time I think we said this reaction time before. This is time taken by the living organisms to respond to different stimuli, like what teacher? Imagine, guys, that you are touching a hot cup of tea. Your mommy told you, please bring my cup of tea. It's very hot. You don't know. You just touched it. So what will happen? You will keep your hand holding the cup of tea? Sure, no, without any thinking. You will remove your hand, withdraw your hand quickly. True? This action is called reflex action or reflexes. This is automatic action. You didn't think. And also, the time taken to do this action is very small. It's actually less than 1 second. So this is the reaction time. So reaction time, time taken by Jabala to respond to danger. Yeah, I think you said true. Number 3, gerbil hand legs are sure to help it jump long distance. Sure to jump, not logic. So it will be false. Perfect. Okay, concept 3, guys, light inside. Let's remember here. If I ask you complete, there are many sources of light, such as what? First, what is the meaning of sources of light, teacher? I forgot. Never mind. Sources of light like you, something emits its own light, gives out its light. Like what? You will tell me. Something gives us light, like the sun. Nice. And fire. Amazing. Not only sun and fire, we have a small song to mention the sources of light. Sun, lamp, candles, fire, flashlight. Again, sun, lamp, candles, fire, flashlight. They are sources of the light. Don't forget. Okay. Put true or false. The light falling on an object bounces back to reach the eye so we can see these objects. Light falling, returned back, bounce, reach. True. Perfect. I think you said. The moon is a source of light, so it appears bright at night. Moon is a source of light. I think no. Moon, like the mirror, reflects the light, so it's not a source of light. Perfect. Okay, did you remember the tapetum lucidum or mirror-like membrane? This is structural adaptation that we mentioned in the what? Tapetum lucidum in the human eye. Okay, listen guys. This tapetum lucidum causes the eyes to glow, to be bright, shine in the dark. Close the light and tell me, your eyes are glowing like cats? Sure, no. So, do we have any tapetum lucidum in the human eyes? Sure, it's false. Perfect. Number 2. Cats can see in the dark due to the presence of a special thin layer in their eyes. We just said it's tapetum lucidum. True. So, we can find this mirror-like membrane or tapetum lucidum, this is structural adaptation in some nocturnal animals like horses, deers, cats, and dogs. So let's complete the next. Human eyes need what to see well? We need what to see? I think we need light. Very good. Number 2, all cats have a what membrane on the back of their eyes? This membrane causes their eyes to be glue or to be shine. Yeah, it's mirror-like membrane. Object that gives off its own light is called perfect source of light. And number 4, we can see objects when the light rays what of these objects to our eyes? I think you said bounce or reflect. Nice. Complete, guys. Tarsiers. Tarsier. Monkey. Yeah, very good. Tarsier monkey has big what that help to see everything in the dark. Yeah, I think you said from the picture, eyes. And number 2, humans need what to use. What a human need to use what to see in the dark. To see in the dark. Sure, we need a light source. So easy. Switch on the lamp. 3, cats can see in the dark due to the presence of what membrane on the back of their eyes? Mirror-like membrane. Very good. Okay, guys, let's remember that materials are classified into two types according to their ability to allow the light to move or not. So I can tell you, give reason why the air, the glass window, the water, the lenses are transparent objects. Transparent means objects allow the light to pass through or to go through them. Unlike rocks, wood, metal, and even the human body, you can't see the wall behind me in this part only. Look, this part. Now you can see why my body acts as opaque object. Don't allow the light to pass or to go through. Nice. So what will happen, guys, if the light falls on smooth surface like mirror and rough surface like carton paper or wooden plate? So first, when the light rays falls on the smooth surface, they will reflect in only one direction, as you can see here. So that's why we can see the reflected light from the mirror. Put mirror under source of light and look up, you can see the reflection. Unlike the rough surface like carton paper, like wood plate, so it's a rough surface, it will reflect the light in different directions, scatter the light. The light will scatter or diffuse in different directions. That's why we cannot see any reflection from them, because the amount of the light ray that reflected not in one direction or not strong, so we can't see them. So we can say that shiny and smooth materials reflect light better than rough materials. Okay, concept 4, communication and information transfer. Okay, guys, did you remember the type of insect that produce chemical reaction inside their bodies to communicate with each other by lighting up? Yeah, firefly petals. So firefly petals can communicate with each other by, very good, by the light. Okay, what about the humpback whale? Let's remember, humpback whale, it has a specific song, a wonderful song, but two actually, not one. Let's remember, in the winter, it will produce high pitched sound to make what? Because this is the mating season. It's time for the mating. So the songs here have a high-pitched sound. Why? And the high-pitched sound travel better in the cold water, so it will produce this high-pitched sound in the winter season. Don't forget, in the mating season, mating season. Okay, what about the summer? In the summer, low-pitched sound. That's why, because the low-pitched sound travels better through the warm water. So it's the feeding season of the humpback whale. Okay, so humpback whales can communicate with other whales by using, yeah, very good, sound or songs. So don't forget, number 1, fireflies, light. So fireflies depend on the sense of sight to see the light. And number 2, humpback whale communicate by using sound. So it depends on which sense? Hearing. Okay, let's see. Guy, this is Morse code. This Morse code is a communication system. It's simple, developed by Samuel Morse, and it consists of two things: short beeps and long beeps, as you heard, or short flash and long flash. That's why to express what? Dots and dash. Look, we have dots and dash. To express the dots, we need short beep or short flash. Now, what about the dash, long beep or long flash? Okay. So put the suitable word in front of each sentence. Fireflies, humpback whale, living organism that can communicate with each other by sounds. I think you said humpback whales. By light, firefly beetles. Okay. Now, guys, let's practice more about you will know right now. Okay, in the hive. This is the home of the bee, honey bee. Very good. Okay. So this is the hope of the honeybee. So bees can communicate to find what and what resources by doing a special dance. This is the communication way of the honeybees to find the food and the water resources. So people of special needs can use what to communicate with each other. Special needs, some people cannot talk or cannot hear. So they can use what? They can use the sign language, the sign language to communicate with each other. Okay, choose. When the flower is a little farther away, the honeybee make what? Honeybee will make what when the flower is very far? Is it one wiggle dance or one round dance, two wiggle dance or two round dance? Okay, when the flower is very far, so it's wiggle dance. So not round. Type one or two, it's a little farther, so it's only one wiggle dance. Okay, two. Space and space depends on the sense of sight and their communication. Sense of sight, sense of sight. I think you said very good. Fireflies and bees. God, the bees communicate with movement or dancing. That's why, yeah, that's why they will depend on the sense of sight. Okay, look here. Hello. It's the ant. Let's remember ants can communicate with each other by making what? By sending smelly message. So depending on the sense of smell. Okay, so when the food is low, which ant send what to which ant, which are responsible for locating the food? Yeah, the nurse ant send a smelly message to the scout ant, which are responsible for locating the food. Perfect. The which ant use a smelly message if there is a danger nearby? The soldier ant will do this. Nice. Now, guys, theme 2, concept 1, starting and stopping. I have a question. How do objects move? How do objects move, guys? How? To move any object, you have to apply force. Nice. We have pushing force and pulling force. So pushing force is to move something away from you. Pushing. Unlike pulling is to move something away, towards you. To move something towards you, near to you. So sometimes, guys, the objects can move and other times no motion. That's why. Because, guys, we have two types of this force. Maybe the two teams, for example, here in this game, the two teams are equal. Look, we have here two girls and two boys. They are the same, equal. So the force here is balanced. So balanced means equal. So sure, no motion, no movement, because they are equal. Now, unlike the next picture here, look, here we have three guys and two guys. So the two teams are not equal, and not equal means unbalanced force. So that's why, of course, the rap will move towards the greater group or the greater force. It's towards the three guys. Okay, so if I ask you now, complete. Any object moves from its place when the forces acting on it are motion. So the force must be balanced or unbalanced. Nice. I think you said unbalanced. Very good. And number 2, the force that slows down or stops the motion is called what? And we needed to stop the moving car. Yeah, the friction force. Friction is a force that what motion? Friction in the same direction of the motion. How come? We just said the friction is used to stop the motion, so it must be oppose the motion in opposite direction of the movement. Nice. Okay, complete the following by using these words below. To make an object start or stop moving, this requires what? To move any object, what do we need? Force or work? I think you said force. And number 2, when you push a car and it starts to move, you are doing what? Nice, you are doing work. Okay, so the force transfers energy that enables us to do the work. Okay, concept 2, energy and motion. Guys, all moving objects, any moving object has specific type of energy, which is called kinetic energy. This kinetic energy is the motion energy. Okay, what about the objects not in motion, in the rest state, in the static state? They have energy or not? Yeah, sure they have. This energy is stored in the rest state when there is no motion is called potential energy. So kinetic in the motion, potential in the rest or static state. Okay, so let's answer here. Number 1, choose the correct answer. The speed of car A, we have here car in point A, P, C, and D. So the speed of the car increases when it what? Stops at point A, or moves from A to B, or stops at C, or moves from B to C. Yeah, the car will be so fast when it moves from A to B. Very good. Number 2, the speed of the car decreases, the opposite, decreases when it moves from A to B, or its kinetic energy doesn't change, or its kinetic energy increases, or it moves from B to C. I think you said it moves from B to C. As it's going up, so its speed will not move in the opposite direction of gravity. 3, the kinetic energy of the car increases in all the following cases except what? The speed, the kinetic energy will increase when what? Moves from A to B, or from C to D, or from B to C, or speed increases. I think you said from C to B will be not fast. Okay. Guys, if I ask you some questions here, I am sure that you will answer. The ability to do work is known as what? Ability to do work. Yeah, this is the energy. The force that causes an object to move distance is known as what? Perfect, the work. Okay, true or false? Energy doesn't change from one form to another form. I think this is wrong because we can change the energy from one form to another. When you push a wall and this wall doesn't move, this means you do work. Actually, I didn't do anything. Yeah, it's false. 3, the person who pushes a car forward and this car moves, this means that the person consumes energy. The car moves, so he consumes energy. Perfect, it's true. Okay, look guys, now the scientists classified all the type of energies into 2 main types, potential and kinetic. What is the difference? We said potential, energy stored, kinetic, energy moving. So the potential energy includes chemical potential and gravitational potential. Chemical and gravitational from the potential energy. Unlike kinetic, we have sound, thermal, electrical, and light. They are kinetic energy. Okay, so let's see here some changes of potential and to kinetic. I want you help me. Okay, the flashlight. The source of light inside the flashlight is the nice batteries. And in the batteries, energy changes from what to what? Yeah, chemical stored in the battery to light and thermal in the lamp. Good. Gas oven. The source of energy here is nice, natural gas. And energy changes from, yeah, chemical, because we said that inside the fuel, food, and battery, we have chemical energy, stored chemical energy. So it will change into thermal or heat energy by using the oven. 3, spring-powered car. Yeah, the source of energy here is the spring wire. And by rotating, potential energy will be kinetic, sound, and thermal. Okay, and the normal car or the fuel car, yeah, the source here, the gasoline. And the energy changes from chemicals stored in the gasoline and to what? Kinetic when the car moves. Nice. Not at all. Electric fan. Electric fan, from its name, it needs electric energy and it will move. And any moving object always has kinetic energy. 2. Doorbell. Doorbell. Electrical energy. 2. As you heard, sound. 3. Radio. Radio works by electricity. So electrical, we're gonna get sound. So energy. Electric lamp, from its name, anything starts with electric, so it needs electrical energy, and the lamp give us light and thermal. Nice. The last concept, guys, energy and collision. Here we go. Look at this. Tennis collision, guys. Yeah, tennis is a collision. What is the meaning of collision, teacher? I forgot. Look, clap your hand. This is collision. Why? When two objects hit each other in a forceful way, this is called collision. So the bat transfers its switch energy to the ball. The bat is moving. So any moving object always has perfect kinetic energy. The speed of the ball, what? When the bat hits it. Okay, when the bat hits the ball, the speed of the ball will, as you can see, very good, increases. Perfect. And number 3, when the bat hits the ball will move in a what direction? Yeah, sure, in different direction. Very good. Okay, so let's remember collision, the moment where two objects hit or make contact in a forceful way. Perfect. Okay, let's complete here, guys. Number 1. Safety equipment, of course, during collision include what and what? Something inside the car, we have to use it to keep our life. So it's perfect. Seat belts and airbags. These airbags are made up of what material? Yeah, I think you said nylon material. And number 3, in cars, what protect passengers during collision? Where they inflate automatically when the sensors in the car detect a crash? Yeah, very good. This is the airbags. Nice. My God, measuring speed. Speed equals what, guys? If I want to know the speed of any moving object, so I have to know 2 factors, the distance and the time. We can divide the distance by the time to get the speed. So speed equals distance over time, or distance divide the time. Distance measured in kilometer or meter, and time in hours or seconds. That's why speed measured in kilometer per hour or meter per second. Nice. Complete the following, guys. The amount of kinetic energy of the object depends on both what and what of its object. Any moving object has kinetic energy. To get more kinetic energy or less kinetic energy, this is depend on what? Yeah, I think you said number 1, the speed, more kinetic energy, and less speed, less kinetic energy, and also the mass, more speed, more kinetic energy, less mass, less speed, less kinetic energy, and more speed, more damage during collision, and less speed, less damage also during collision. And number 2, fast moving objects have which kinetic energy? While slow-moving object, we just mentioned that the fast, more kinetic energy, slow, less kinetic energy. So by increasing the speed of the object, its kinetic energy, very good, increase. Nice. Okay, let's practice, guys, now. I got the answers before the questions. It's okay. Once again, let's complete. Okay, we have 3 guide words: increases, faster, and kinetic. So look here, guys. If the incline of a ramp increases, the object rolling down, it will be what? Look, by increasing the ramp, the inclination, the angle of inclination, this is a small angle, this is bigger, this is the biggest one. So by increasing the angle of inclination, the speed of the object rolling down will, yeah, sure, I think you said increase. Good. And when the speed of the object increased, its kinetic energy, more speed. So perfect, more kinetic energy. And number 3, we can use the speed of any object to know which energy Very good. We can use the speed to know the amount of the kinetic energy that this object contains. As we said, that's okay. Thank you very much. Right now, we finished our revision. I hope you understood each part and hope you the best in your life. Grade 4, you are heroes. Go ahead. You can do the best. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.